Hello and welcome back to the next One Piece review and discussion. I'm a bit late this week because I've been away at Comic Con this weekend, but I got some new prints to add to the collection, so pretty happy about that. But obviously, after my great weekend, come back. One Piece chapter is officially released now, so we have the Viz translation of it all. But I'm excited to jump into this because what a chapter we have. This certainly is setting up a lot of stuff that we all just want to know. So, without further ado, chapter 1096, Kumachi. So, little play on words of Kuma's name. But we have our guy, Zoro, in the cover story, and he's lost a game of musical chairs to some chihuahuas because he struggles to find his way around anyway. He struggled to find a chair. It's just his curse. But we jump straight into the games. So the murder games, these cleansing games that the celestial dragons have, and we just see like everyone like scattering, like all the natives are running, and up on like this pedestal in like the center of the region with all these like plinths, they are declaring that they are now 13 super rare rabbits have been released. So I'm assuming these are just referring to the slaves like Kuma and Ivankov and Jinny and all them that they've brought in as like extra points in their game. And they are worth 10,000 each, which is quite a lot. But they said that there are also 150 rare rabbits, and they're saying that those are just the remaining people who have survived. So of all the natives they've been killing, the remaining people are all either super rare or rare and worth so many points, and they get bonus points if they do a one-shot kill. So pretty diabolical where Oda's going with this massacre game. And we have Garland just being like dead smug, being like, watch this, like what's gonna happen. And we have a individual in like a large like beanie hat with a gun saying, the trophy of this competition is gonna belong to the Man Mayer family. So a new royal family has just been name dropped. So this could be one of the founding 20 that we're still learning about. So we've got an inclusion of their name. And then there are two other individuals, like a younger woman and what looks to be a person in a mask that has like 46. Soldier 46 here back in the day when he wielded a sword. This is our guy, just a few generations back, obviously. But they seem to be really ready to go to just attack these poor people who are just like cradling children, panicking, don't want to, die, obviously, and want to escape this nightmare. And they're just being hunted. And we see other celestial dragons in their like bubble helmets are like joining the fray, but it seems like the Holy Knights are the ones who are in the real competition of things. But the hunt's on, and we jump over to Navy HQ where Kong, who is our top ranking guy at the minute, but I don't know if he was back then. He might just be an admiral at this point. He's radioing to Garp, and he's like, "Look, like Garp, you've got to get over to God Valley. We can't take any chances, even though this is all going on. Like, just stop whatever you're doing. Don't poke the beehive of Hachinosu. Like, what happens. We don't go there." And it's like, look, like they're just after some treasure and stuff, and like everything that's happening. And Kong's like, look, we've had information leak that Roger is on his way, and then Garp's like, why didn't you start with that? Like, I'm going there right now. So we know that there is some history with Garp, Roger, and what is going to go down. And we jump to full head. We jump to Hachinosu, and pirates like turn up, and they're like, "Oh damn! Like Rock's already left. Oh, we gotta catch back up to them. Like, where have they gone? Like, this is a whole dealing going on." So we see the shot of God Valley in the West Blue. It is surrounded by just a navy fleet, just ships at every part of the coast, and they're not letting anyone escape. They are keeping everyone locked in, and this like sick murder game where already like 100,000 people are just like being killed. And Ivankov is talking with the slaves, saying that it's just 3 weeks, 3 weeks. And then one of the prisoners is like, well, that's fine then. We just have to survive for 3 weeks and then we'll be free, won't we? Like, that's how it works. And Ivankov's like, don't be an idiot. Of course, these games have zero survivors. They will kill us, They want us to feel hope. Do you know why? Because if it wasn't for hope, they wouldn't have their games. We would just be in such despair. We wouldn't want to run away. We wouldn't want to hide. We wouldn't give them the chase. So, of course, they give us hope so that we think we have a chance to survive, which makes it fun for them. So, it's really twisted what he's doing. And we see Garland is straight into it, killing people, with his sword. He's on like a giant duck with goggles on, it looks like, just like his horse charging round. And we see it's being broadcast from all the transponder snails, and Marie Joie is sort of getting in on it as well. But there is a shark fisherman who bites off Ivankov's chain, strong jaw. And we see Jinny is like tinkering away on some of the snails. And she turns out her background is really good at like the tech side of stuff and being able to broadcast. And she's found out that two of the prizes are extremely powerful devil fruits. One is, just one of the most powerful devil fruits in existence. It allows the user to transform into a mythical azure dragon. We are fully aware that this is where Kaido got his devil fruit because Big Mom says you were given, or she gave Kaido the devil fruit at God Valley. So we know this is how he's going to end up with the fruit. The second fruit is the pawpaw fruit, which allows the user to send anyone, even themselves, to a distant island. So there's two incredibly strong devil fruits, and their plan is Ivankov and Jinny are saying we just need to eat them, and then we're free. One of us could turn into a dragon, fly. One of us uses the pawpaw fruit on everyone to escape. We just send everyone everywhere. So it's a solid plan. They're like, look, they're not going to think we're going to like uprise against them. So there's enough of us here, we can try and escape. And this is where Jinny says, like, look, like she's a pro at like wiretapping and like thievery and all these transmissions. And she even said, 2 weeks ago in this 3-week endeavor, before the games was going to start, she already sent a signal out to the world to maybe someone pick up her message about what's happening at God Valley. So she's like, we just need decoy. We need other people to hopefully turn up. But we need one of us to, kind of cause a bit of a distraction. And Kuma's like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm big. I'm pretty hardy. I can survive more than most. So I just don't want anyone else to get hurt. And like Ivankov and Jinny, like, yes, my guy, we will do it. And we just cut to some of the Navy ships just exploding, just massive carnage on the water. And we see the Jolly Roger of Rox's crew, that like flaming skull with like rocks across it. We see that it is charging towards this massive warship, and all the Marines are freaking out. They're like, oh, like Rox is here, like what are we gonna do? And we don't see Rox. Oh, there's a real tease about this. We don't see Rox. We hear him because he's like, look, follow me. Like my Rox pirates, we're going to get them. Like, don't waste your time with the Navy. We're heading to the island. And we see a full spread of the Rox crew without Rox. So I'm assuming that Rox is just like Leroy Jenkins into the fray of God Valley. He's off. He's just gonna just start massacring. He's a nut character, I guess. So he's just gone, and we see a young Whitebeard first trying to be like level headed, being like, "Look, not so fast, Rocks. Like, who said I was a follower of yours anyway? You idiot! Like, come on, what are you doing?" Then on his shoulder, cause Whitebeard's a big dude. Up on his shoulder is the one and only original Buckingham Stussy. So young Stussy is here. Obviously, we've seen old Stussy currently with young Whitebeard's son, she claims. But we also know that Stussy is a clone, the one that's currently at Egghead. This is her basic model, what she's modelled off. So this is the young Stussy who is around. And we see she's sort of obviously infatuated with Whitebeard. But so is another member of the Rock's crew, as we see a Kuja Empress of the time. We see Glory Osa. We see the old granny who went back then to the Kuja Kingdom. She was on the Rock's crew. There was rumours it would have been Shaki, but no, it was Gloriosa herself who was on the Rock's crew, who fell in love with Whitebeard, and that's why she left being an empress and went to travel, and then eventually has come back. But we see her just obviously arguing with Stussy, so they're both vying for Whitebeard, but my guy's just like doesn't care about any of that. We then see charging headfirst as well up into the air, declaring that there's treasure on the island that they're after, because the whole reason they've come here is they know there's treasure on the island, or there's something important, something that they think has been taken. So they're all just trying to find it first. Like, no one's working together. They're all like, I'm going to find the treasure first. No, I will find the treasure first. And we see Big Mum herself, young Big Mum, jumping up. She's got Prometheus up on one hand. She's wearing Napoleon's hat. We don't see Zeus, but I feel like she does have Zeus at this point. She's like 30 or so. I don't think Zeus comes into existence now. I feel like when we saw her when she was younger, using the soul power, she had Zeus already. But she doesn't have Zeus currently. And then we see our young-ish Ido in his 20s, our old little guy, with his cannonbow charging in, saying like, "Look, you can't do anything, Lillian. Like, what are you on about?" And then we get his first canon appearance. We see Gold Lion Shiki in his young prime, charging in, getting ready to find this treasure. He's wielding his sword currently because we know from the Strong World film he has to escape and pull down, and he cuts his legs off and his swords become his legs. And then he obviously has the ship wheel in his head. He's doesn't have any of that, but he's wielding his two swords. So the swords that eventually become his legs are his current weapons of choice. We see next to him are drunken Captain John, or just probably John at this point because he's not a captain, boozing away, saying that he's gonna find the treasure. And then there are a few other individuals around who are more obscured. So there is one character in the back who we can't make out much details about them, but the one key part we see are like 3 Wolverine claws coming from their hand. Very similar to Blackbeard's weapon of choice was while he was like on his way to becoming an emperor and finding all his devil fruits. We see there is other like smaller characters jumping in as well with like hats on, and looks to be like a big fishman dude off to like Whitebeard's side. But no one's working together. They're all just like, just charging in. Like, Whitebeard's like, look, he's lost sight of his goal already. Rock's like, what's he doing? And she's like, look, just stop being a leader. Like, we're just gonna kill them all anyway, And like Lindlin's like, yeah, we're just here to steal, and like all we're after, and then we'll just leave. Like, stuck your head in the clouds. We see everyone's like basically just arguing with each other. And then in the panel below where we see like the lineup of all the pirates talking, we see like a gladiator dude who doesn't talk, but like ready for action in like a large gladiator helmet. And then what looks to be a guy who has like his head like could be wearing like a hat but like a dark head and like glasses on, and he's just sort of smiling. So the current theories are we don't know yet who Silverax and Wang Ji, those two characters, could be these guys. You know, we got names of who was on Rock's crew, but we don't yet know names to faces. So we have the Celestial Dragons currently now reporting in that the rocks have made landfall, and they're all currently just absolutely going crazy now, being like, you know, what the purpose here is unclear. Like, how did they know we were here? Just watch out. And then all of a sudden, we hear that on the opposite side of the island, the Roger pirates have made landfall. And we see all the young members of the crew. We see Roger with his straw hat, which is nice. We see Beckman. We see Scopper Gabon there. We've got Millet Pine, Yui, Sunbell, Spencer. We can see all of them, those like off to the side characters who aren't like the main power trio, we'll say. But Roger's like, look, it's been a year since he's had a big fight, so he's like raring to go now. He's just as engaged. And we can see Garland has like jumped back and is like getting into a ready position, being like, we've got to protect the Celestial Dragons, you know, where the Holy Knights will handle this. And behind him, we see a like younger woman, like long black hair, probably also a Holy Knight. And then we see a dude with like a deer skull, like a lesson of Witcher, like fully garbed. Genuinely think he's wielding a scythe. He's got like a stick in his hand. We can't see the rest of the weapon, but it will be so cool if he's like Grim Reaper inspired, because he looked badass already with that skull. But he's a Holy Knight. He could even be, you know, he's the one like giving the order, saying like, we're the blockade, like we're gonna run point, because we know Garland right now isn't the commander. He's just a Holy Knight. He hasn't ascended yet. So this guy could be the leader. We don't know. But then everyone's now just like, what's going on? Like, what is happening? And then Admiral Garp shows up. So our main man himself shows up and is raring to go. And we just see it's going to become absolute chaos from this point. You know, we're going to get some absolutely incredible fights. The big powerhouses of the world are currently going to go toe to toe. We're going to find out what happens at God Valley. And we have a little interlude now here where, you know, they finally get their hands on the devil fruits. You know, all this carnage is going on, enough distractions happening that Kuma, Ivankov, and like Jinny have managed to find their way to where the treasure is, and they've got the devil fruit in their hand. So while everyone's currently fighting all these like chaos, you know, Roger, Rocks, Whitebeard, Celestial Dragons, Holy Knights, Kuma is holding the pawpaw fruit, and Ivankov, he's got the Eza Dragon fruit. He's holding this very powerful mythical fruit, and they're like, look, we've just got to eat them. And as they're about to, Lin comes in with the just chokehold from out of nowhere and just rips the Azure Dragon Fruit from Ivankov. And she's like, nah, not so fast. And even before like they can process anything, Ivankov's like, Kuma, just eat the fruit. So he just like doesn't intend to like defend or attack. He just immediately just like swallows the fruit whole, like doesn't even take a bite. And he's like, look, we just need one person to survive, and then we've won. That's all it needs. So we don't get to see any fighting, which is so upsetting. It just jumps straight to like them getting the fruits. Lin is like gets hold of Kado's fruit, which we know. But after Kuma swallowed his fruit, he's now got the paw ability. He gets immediately shot in the head from St. J. Garcia, who is the one reminiscing about all this. And we see that he takes that headshot that he did currently to the Straw Hats like Sanji. But he's a hardy kid, so he's just like, he gets up, he's like, you buccaneer boy, your options are slavery or death, history is chosen for you. And Kuma's really the one like stands up to a Goro saying, he's like, look, it doesn't make sense. Like, you're born important, I'm born a slave, it's not, there's no reason for that, I want the power. I want to be someone like Nika. I want to save all those unfortunate people if I can. You know, and then he's just like, which is why, you people need to vanish for good because you have hope to save people. And in this intense, like, stare off, you get a brief glimpse of what is going down. And we see Roger being like, wait, rocks, like, you gotta stop my guy, like, pack it in. And just another brief instance of Rocks talking, saying, get out of my way, Roger. There's no backing down now. And that's all we get from God Valley, because it's just like 1 week later, we're back in the Sorbet Kingdom. Guys, we survived. It's like, oh, we just skipped all of God Valley. We're definitely going to come back to it. I just guess Oda didn't want to reveal all of what happens. He set it up now so that when we pick up next time and we find out what really goes down at God Valley, we can just jump straight back into the action of it. Because we've got the Devil Fruit capture out the way, that Big Bun gets hold of Kaido's Devil Fruit, how Kuma gets his Devil Fruit. We're going to make the assumption that he used his paw fruit to get him, Ivankov and Jinny at least out, because they're the ones who are in the Sorbet Kingdom. But the narrator says that this event is now lost to the dark shadows of history. That it is in the annals of time. But Ivankov is the one reading the paper saying, oh, well, Garb's getting all these like legendary stories in the print now about like how strong he was. Morgan getting all these like, he's just a hack job coming up with these ideas. And we can see Kuma like praying, being like, I wanted to save others' lives. But Ivankov's like, what are you on about? You saved 500 lives, including ours. And Kuma's like, I just wanted to save some more. This is where Kuma's now going into his idea of like when he's holding like the Bible, and we actually see he's in a church. This is where they like stay now in the Sorbet Kingdom, and Jinny's like, everyone is super grateful, and Ivankov gives him like coins a turn for him. It's like, look, you have the hands of liberation now. You can set people free. And Kuma's like this is what my power's for. And we find that Kuma's family did run a church, so that is why he is religious. And it's like, Ivanka's like, that explains so much about you. But anyway, I'm heading back off to sea. I'm going to make my own freedom. And Jinny's like, I'm going to stay here with Kuma. I want to stay here with Kumachi. That's where we get the chapter name from. Jinny comes up with the cute nickname, and I want to figure out my own life, like, bro. And I was like, cool, so long, we're all friends, but you've got this. And we find out that Jinny's only 4 years old, but Kuma's not that much older. So we just see like a little montage of like them fending for themselves. So like cutting wood, going to sell it. We see kids try and bully Kuma, and Jinny just like beats the hell out of them and just being like absolute terror for like hurting Kuma. And then Kuma just comes up and it's like, just takes the pain away from like Jinny beating them up, using his poor ability to just extract the pain as we've seen. And he's like, yeah, the pain's gone away. And we see the other kids join in with like the wood cutting and like taking it to go get sold. And they're singing along to Kumachi. And the final page of this chapter is Kuma and Jinny eating together, you know, having lots of food. Jinny's still hungry and like Kuma gives her more. And, you know, they're reminiscing about where their life is currently. And, you know, they keep eating so much. They start crying because they're so happy that they're free and they've been able to eat because they're full. They don't want to eat anymore. But super sweet ending. No break next weekend. Next weekend? Next week? I mean, in a couple of days we'll have the next chapter by the time this comes out. But that is a super nice chapter. Oda teasing God Valley and then just going, ha, got ya. Not happening. Was a real nice twist in his part. But the setup's there. We see how all of the pirates like get there. So Jinny was the one to send the message out. We know now how Kuma and Kaido get their devil fruits. Is it just St. J. Garcia on the island? Are the other Garcia there? Well, we're always left with more questions than answers. I mean, a lot was answered. We got the confirmation that Gloriosa was on the Rocks Pirate. That was pretty cool. What a chapter. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments. I will see you next time.